Hi guys, welcome back to the Funky Evolution Party. I'm Alice Green. So, what's today's topic? There is so much going on in the world, and to me personally, it is chaos. We're screaming equality, we're screaming my body, my choice, we're screaming freedom, and all we're doing is oppressing each other, creating laws that are taking us back, and I mean back before times. And this subject is very, very sensitive, and I know it's going to trigger, seriously trigger lots of people, but I'm actually going to run you through. I don't normally get personal on my videos. You're possibly wondering, how do I come up with all my bullshit? And it's literally life. And I have had all this shit thrown at me. And I have dealt with so much, from crazy, crazy people through to the nicest, well, I call them plants because I don't really find people nice. Sort of my own heaven in that respect. And it comes from being super confident within yourself, within the choices that you make, and being accountable for those decisions and the choices that you make. So it's not about being popular. It's not about, what is actually the right thing, because what's right for you might not be right for me. And today I'm going to talk about abortion and abortion laws, because this for me is really, really sad. It's not, I get the argument out there, and I'm not pro-abortion and I'm not anti-abortion. But as I said to you guys, I'm going to tell you my story because this might give you guys another spin on the 6-week rule. And also, it is my body and it is my choice and it is going to be my life, and how well I cope depends on how that child then manages itself in the future. And are we going to keep creating this messed up cycle? One hand, you've got Bill Gates trying to kill everybody, and then on the other hand, you have people screaming, population crises. And why is there a crisis? Because, back in the day, before there was pensions, people used to have 13 kids to ensure their pension. Now, obviously, there is a pension system, so less people are investing in children. Now, I know it's a bit sad, but actually that is the fact and the reality of what it is. So when it comes to my body and my choice, I watched something the other day on Twitter, is now my main source of information, where I'm just like, daggers. Some woman is like, oh, I'm talking about the vaccines, and when it comes to abortion, that's your, you fell into that. And it's like, it's a very dismissive view on life, on that whole my body, my choice, because in all fairness, things happen. Women get raped. Some women are going to die in childbirth and they've already got 5 other kids. So what happens? Okay, I can't, I'm going to die. I've got 5 kids that I'm going to leave behind, and say, God forbid, that I'm a single mom leaving 5 kids behind, but I can't do anything about it. These are things that we really, as a society, need to step out of how we feel about things and actually look at what the consequences of keeping these children that are either unloved, unwanted. Imagine, for example, I had no choice and I had to keep them, and then I resented my child for the rest of its life. That child does not grow up with love, with confidence, with like, I'm okay with this. Again, going back to my story, long story short, I actually felt like the Virgin Mary, although I'm definitely not a virgin. But it was the same sort of theme. I didn't know the person very well. It was only a couple of months. I got pregnant and I had that choice. It took me more than 3 months to make that decision. And what I did whilst making that decision was I looked at all the people around the world who have been dying to have children, have been through IVF, spent thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds, and weren't able to even get the egg to hatch per se, and I assessed all the different scenarios and all the different situations. Now, if this happened to me when I was 20, I can guarantee you I would not be able to look after my children the way I was able to look after them at 36 /40. And that is the biggest thing. Oh, you're too old and you're this. Actually, there was nothing wrong with me. There was no medical condition to say that I needed to abort. From a financial perspective, if you look at all the religions, it does say that God will provide. And thank God, if you were just to see the amount of toys and books and everything I have in here, he does provide. And when making the decision, it's not anybody else's decision. It's your body and your decision. And for a law to come in where women are going to go back to the 1960s where they were sticking coat hangers up themselves, opening themselves up to infection, opening themselves up to the black market, these things that we tried to sort of address are now regressing. And it's something that I really feel that individually and collectively, we need to understand bringing more children, unwanted children, into this world. They're going to be more messed up. Their psychology is going to be screwed. They're going to be sold on the black market. They're going to be, their confidence levels, nobody loves them. So the first predator that comes along, do we think about all these things? No, we think it has a heartbeat. Well, guess what? I'm a gardener. The amount of life we kill every single day, kill, and your human life, what is the difference? Why are you so important as a human? I don't get it. I think the bees are more important than humans. They keep the world spinning. We don't. We are parasites. And until we are ready to educate the future, i.e. change the schooling system, change sex education so we aren't having teenage pregnancies. So when kids get older, they're not turning into sexual predators because of the repression from a younger age. Let's look at the psychology, stop trying to change biology, and, put all these rules and regulations on people and then scream freedom, equality. It's not free. It's not equality. During my pregnancy, my mother didn't speak to me. The father wanted me to abort the entire time of my pregnancy. On top of that, then my baby, because of all the stress, wasn't growing properly. So he was literally born 860 grams versus the 1.8 baby. Now, all of this pressure that one individual or a mother feels goes into her baby. I was told I was not pretty, I'm this, I'm a that. Again, imagine your entire family turning against you because you're having a child out of wedlock. And what? Was I going to go marry someone who was treating me like? No, that is not how it works. How it works is I respect myself, I respect my body. Again, if I was 20, maybe I wouldn't have made the decision to keep them. But at 36, you're right. I was old enough. I should have kept myself protected. Blah, 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 blah. It happened. And rather than forever telling my children, I never wanted you, and making them feel like shit, I've stepped up and I decided that this was going to be something for me to learn from and to embrace, because it is a privilege to be a parent. And because the other parent is such a psycho, I really value individuals who can put their nonsense to one side, look at that child and say, hey, regardless of how things came about, I have now made this decision and we're going to stick through it. And if you're not prepared to make that decision, then we have to allow people to have a choice on their bodies, because I'm not going to lie to you, it's been really tough financially. I can't work. I've got 2 babies. One's sick, the other's sick. You know what? Then no one's going to hire me when I need a week off every other week. So I'm lucky I live in this social system. And if you don't, again, if I was in Brazil, I would have to have potentially sold my children. And this is the reality. Looking at abortion, not as we're killing life, because again, you live in concrete jungles where you've killed all the life force around you. So let's get real about this. Let's start, using a bit of sense and let the penny drop, because this is the way I'm feeling, is that I've seen so many children who really, because they had to be born rather than because the parents were ready for that child to come into this world. So please like, share, subscribe, and get the message out there.